So in this video I'm going to show you how to make a very simple music player. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to import your music. So we'll go to File and we'll go to Import to the library. Navigate to where your music is and you can simply click all of them that you want, and this one here I'm going to do 3 of them. So I click them all, I click open, and they will be converted and placed into the library. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to name our layers. So the first layer that we have here we're going to call music. Insert another layer and we're going to call that buttons. Insert a third layer and call that one images, and insert a fourth layer and call that actions. Okay, so now in the second frame we want to, in the music layer, we want to insert a keyframe, and we simply want to take our first song and drag it onto the stage, and you can see a little line goes in there. Now in the next frame next to that you want to click and just simply insert a frame. So now that song is going to play over those 2 frames. In frame 4, click in frame 4 and add a keyframe. Take your second song, drag it onto the stage, and in the 5th frame insert a frame. Go to the 6th frame and right mouse click and insert a keyframe, and take your third song, drag it on to the stage, and in the 7th frame insert frame. And so now we have our 3 songs there, and in the 8th frame we just want to insert a keyframe. So that takes care of our music. Okay, so we have our music done, so now we want to go to our buttons. So let's go to frame 1 in our buttons layer, and what we're going to do here, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to use my rectangular tool to draw a button. Now you may want to use an image for your song, but I'm not going to show you how to do everything. But to add images, it's exactly the same thing, except you have to import your images into your library first. Then you go from the library and bring them on and resize them. But I'm just going to use a simple button here, and I'm going to come up here and let's make the first one, and you'll see how I'm going to develop mine here also. So I'm going to put one button there. I am going to make another button like so, and let's go ahead and do our third button because we have 3 songs. Okay, and I'm going to use the selection tool. I'm going to click on the first button here. I'm going to press F8 and I'm going to change to a button, and I'm going to call this one Song 1 BTN. I'm going to click on button 2. I'm going to click F8 and I'm going to call this Song 2 BTN. And then I'm going to click on the third one, press F8, and I'm going to call this one Song 3 BTN. Okay, now I'm not going to sit here and try and line those all up. First of all, I'm going to pick a very good size that I like, that'll be evenly distributed, and I like the size of that button there. And I come over here and see that it's 69.5 by 69.5. I'm just going to lock these together so that when I change one, the other one changes, and I'm going to make that 70. So now it's a perfect square, 70 by 70. I'm going to click on my second one, and I'm going to change that to 70, and that should be 70 there also. And I'm going to come to this one here and I'm going to change that to 70, and that changes to 70 also. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, right, I want to place my first one there. I want to place my last one. Let's come on over there like that, and then just anywhere in between. Now I'm going to select around all of them. Notice that they're all selected. And I'm going to come up to Modify and Align, and I'm going to align them to the right. And then I'm going to go to Modify, Align, and I'm going to distribute the widths, the heights. Okay, so it places that one in between the top and the bottom one, which is perfect. Okay, now before we go on any further, we want to actually code these buttons. So I'm going to click in the first one. I'm going to press F9 to bring up the actions. And there's my action screens. And we are simply, yours will probably look like this. So click on Global Functions, Movie Clip Control, and double click the On. So I'm going to double click, and we want On Release. And then just click out here and here and press Enter. So we add a line and come down here and open up the timeline control. So I'll just drag this down so you can see. And the first thing we want to do is stop all sounds. So this will stop any music that is playing again. I'm going to press Tab, and I'm going to go and double click on Go To and Play. And we want this to play our first song, which starts in frame 2. And as you can see, it tells us here what frame we want to go in there, and we put in frame 2. Okay, next I'm going to simply copy all of that code. I'm going to click on button 2, and I'm going to paste it in there, but we are going to go to frame 4 for the second song. And I'm going to click here on the third button, and I'm going to paste in the code, and we want to go to frame 6 for the third song. And now we can just close that. It saves it automatically, so we can just close that. Speaking of saving, I haven't saved yet, so let's go ahead and save. I'll go ahead and File, Save As, and I'm just going to call this one Music Player Tutorial, and it's going to save it. So now I've got all my 3 buttons. You can see that it's down on that keyframe there. Okay, now here's what we want to do. We want to select all of these buttons here, and we want to do a Control-C to copy. Okay, next I'm going to go to frame. I have to put a blank keyframe in there, and then we can go to Edit and Paste in Place. So it's exactly the same place. Okay, let's go to frame 4 and insert a blank keyframe, and you'll notice that it's expanded this out to the second one, which is exactly what we want. Okay, let's go to Edit, Paste in Place, exactly the same place. Let's then go to frame 6, insert a blank keyframe, and let's go Edit, Paste in Place, and let's come to frame 8 and right mouse click and a blank keyframe. Okay, so every time we put in a blank keyframe, it stops the previous ones from coming over. So if we look now, if we click on frame 1, okay, and we actually now use our greater than or less than sign on our keyboard to move one frame at a time, and you'll see the head moving, the timeline head moving as I do this. So I'm using the greater than sign. Goes to the next one, and you can see that the actual buttons, even though they're on different frames, do not appear to be moving. Okay, that's exactly what we want. Okay, now, so now we are going to insert our images, and what the images, of course, is it's an image of the actual song playing. So this can be the small image of what song is playing, and this then will be the large image of the song playing. Now if you imported it into the library, you can drag that one straight over here and just resize it if you wish. Okay. I need to go into the images layer first. So I'm in the first frame, and now I'm going to bring my picture in, and it's going to be that size, and I just want to do some playing around. Okay, so I want to see if I can match up these things here. So bring it down, so I just want to line it up a little bit with the bottom one there, and that looks, that looks all right. Now remember, you're going to have an image, and that's fine. The image is cool there. I don't have an image, I just have that block. I'm even going to bring that back down to 290. Okay, and you can see it's moved up from there. So now if I really wanted to, I probably should turn on my grid, and of course grid and alignment, line it up as close as possible. Okay, so now I'll turn off my grid. Okay, now that's my first image. Okay, and so now what I am going to do is, because when the music player opens up and it comes to this part of my hypermedia player, we want the actual first song image to be showing there, okay, on that first one. It's not playing, but it's showing. So now I am going to copy that, okay, and I'm going to come into frame 2, and I'm going to insert a keyframe. Okay, and notice that it goes straight into that place. Okay, next I'm going to go to frame 4, and I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. So I don't want to bring that one over. Okay, and let's go ahead and I'll change colors. Okay, and now here's the interesting thing. I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to click on there. I got 340 by 290. Okay, so I'm going to come back over to here. I'm going to click on this one here, and I got 340 by 290. Okay, and now I'm going to come back here and go click on that, and it's at 90.95. Okay, is where we have placed it. So I'm going to come back here and click on it. This is auto recovery. Yep, I'm just going to press that. I'm going to click on it, and that was 90.95. Okay, so now they're in exactly the same position. That's the image for my second song. And now we're going to go to frame 6 and right mouse click, insert a blank keyframe, and of course you would have your third image. Let me see, which I don't have, so I'm just going to use a placeholder here, and once again I've just got to remember what I have. It's 340 by 290. I'm going to come into here, click on here, 340 by 290, and the X is I think it's 90.99. See, I can't remember 95 was it? Let's just go back here and check. Let me click on there, 90.95, and let's go here and check on that one, 90.95, which is great. I'm going to come to frame 8, right mouse click, and insert a blank. Okay, so there's nothing in that last frame, and I'll explain to you why in a moment. It's Control S to give it a save, and now we have everything. Now I'm just going to use my greater than and less than keys on the keyboard, or the comma and the full stop key, and you can see, so now it opens up to frame 1, yep, and I go to frame 2 and frame 3, that's the first song, frame 4 and frame 5 is the second song, frame 6 and frame 7 is the third song, and nothing on frame 8. Okay, so the last thing we now need to do is to go into our actions, and what you need to do is you need to insert a blank keyframe into each one of these frames. So we'll insert a blank keyframe in each of those. Let's go back to frame 1 in the actions. Okay, and now we need to open up our actions box, so let's press F9. Okay, and in frame 1 we want to put in a stop, so STOP, bracket, bracket, and semicolon. Okay, in frame 2 it's the same thing, stop, bracket, bracket, semicolon. In frame 3 we need to just double click on previous frame. Okay, in frame 4 we need to put in a stop, and you can actually double click there to put the stop in. Frame 5 is going to be a previous frame. Frame 6 is going to be a stop. Frame 7 is going to be a previous frame, and frame 8 all by itself is a stop, because we don't want it going on to the next scene after it plays the third song. Let's do a save, Control S, and let's close that there. And now all it is left to do is to go ahead and test our music player here. So let's go ahead and do a Control Enter. And here comes our movie. So it opens up to the very first frame, but nothing is happening there, and we got to stop there, so nothing happens. We press the first song button. And we press the second button. And the third song. Okay, so you can see and when we go to press on each of these, you'll hear the songs changing. And all I have to say now is how sweet it is. And that's our song there. So you know, we've got a lot of action scripts going just to make sure that it goes back and it doesn't go too far and everything. So that there is how you make a simple music player. Good luck.